So you want to succeed, right? You've got the drive, you've got the ambition, but you feel stuck, totally stuck. It's like you can see the goal way off in the distance, but the path to get there is just a complete mystery. It's a really frustrating place to be, and in this explainer, we're going to unfold the brutally honest map to get you moving. Have you ever felt that? That paralysis of just not knowing which step to take first? Well, you're definitely not alone. It's not because you lack desire. Not at all. The real issue is that most of us have been given the wrong playbook. We're taught to look for tactics and secrets and shortcuts. But what if the problem isn't the path? What if it's the person walking it?
And this is the key. Success isn't built on some foundation of secret techniques. It's built on a specific, and yeah, often uncomfortable, mindset. It's all about rewiring how you operate so you can think differently than everybody else. And to guide us through this mental shift, we're turning to someone who literally built an empire on this very principle.
Our guide for today is Alex Hormozi. He's a self-made entrepreneur whose whole philosophy just flies in the face of conventional wisdom. He doesn't sugarcoat things one bit, and honestly, that's exactly why his advice is so powerful. So that number, that's his approximate net worth. And get this, he's still in his 30s. But don't let that huge number scare you off. The most important part of his story isn't where he is now. It's how he got started. You know, he's the first one to admit he wasn't some kind of prodigy. His success was forged in failure, in trial, and a lot of error. He learned everything the hard way, which is what makes his lessons so incredibly valuable. He didn't start at the top. He started from absolute scratch. And here's a perfect example of where he started. In one of his first sales jobs at a gym, a woman seemed totally ready to sign up, but then said she left her credit card at home. Hormozi, so excited, runs back to his boss, proudly announcing he'd closed his first deal, and they just looked at him and burst out laughing. He had to learn from the ground up. So how did he get from that super embarrassing moment to where he is today? Well, not by following the standard advice, that's for sure. He followed a set of rules that are deliberately, radically unbalanced, and they are the absolute core of what we're talking about today. And here it is, the big one, the foundational rule that holds up everything else. Forget work-life balance. Hormozi argues that for anyone trying to achieve something extraordinary, balance is a total fairy tale. Greatness in any field is born from imbalance. It's about sacrificing something to become absolutely exceptional at something else. Just think about it this way. School trains us to be well-rounded, right? A student with straight B's is considered successful. But the real world, the marketplace, is the complete opposite. Nobody pays for your weaknesses. The market pays for your single greatest strength. It rewards the specialist who is an A+ in one thing, even if they're a D in everything else. All-arounders have low market value. Specialists have incredibly high value. Okay, so if you're going to be a specialist, what do you invest? I mean, when you're just starting out, you don't have money, you don't have skills or connections, but what you do have are two raw, powerful assets, an abundance of time and a surplus of energy. This is your currency. And here's the brutally honest way to spend that currency. Hormozi says if you're young and hungry, you should be working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Now, this isn't about hustling just for the sake of it. It's a strategic decision to trade your raw assets, your time and energy, to build skills and create value. That's what will eventually earn you money and freedom. It's the underdog's brute force formula. But look, you can't build an empire if your personal foundation is totally crumbling. To have the freedom to take those big swings in your career or your business, you need an ironclad personal defense. And that means getting your financial life in order so you can operate without the constant stress of living paycheck to paycheck. That security is what gives you the psychological space to take real risks. And he puts a very specific number on that financial defense. His rule is this: do not raise your standard of living until you have a significant cash cushion saved. He suggests around $75,000 US. Until you hit that number, you live as cheaply as humanly possible. Why? Because that cushion lets you say no to bad opportunities and yes to the right risks.
So how do you get there? Well, he points to 3 major costs that you have to slash mercilessly. First, eating out. It's a massive, unnecessary expense. Second, new clothes. He bought all his from thrift stores when he was starting out. And third, and this is the toughest one for a lot of people, the cost of social outings. These are the sacrifices that build your defense.
Which leads us directly to maybe the most challenging rule of all. And it's about your social circle. Hormozi poses a really stark question. If the people around you are actively or even passively pulling you away from your goals, can you really call them your friends? Your environment dictates your future, and sometimes you have to make some really hard choices about who gets to be in it. When you start prioritizing your goals like this, you will inevitably enter what he calls the phase of loneliness. It's that awkward, uncomfortable period where you don't really fit in with your old circle anymore, but you haven't yet earned a place in a new one. This phase isn't a sign of failure. It is a sign of growth. It's temporary, and it's where the real work gets done. So we've covered the big mindset shifts: imbalance, work ethic, finances, relationships. But all the thinking in the world is completely useless without one final critical component: taking action. This might just be the most important rule for the digital age. There has never been an easier time to start a business, learn a skill, or create something. The barriers to entry are lower than they have ever been in human history. Because of that, the only real way to fail is to choose to do nothing. Analysis paralysis is the real enemy here. But how do you break out of that? Use the 20-hour rule. It's simple. Pick one thing: video editing, writing code, building a website, whatever, and just commit to 20 hours of focused effort. That's it. After 20 hours, you'll have totally demystified the process. You'll see it wasn't nearly as complex or scary as you build it up to be in your head. It's the perfect antidote to the fear of starting. Ultimately, we're all at a crossroads. The internet has given us both infinite opportunity and infinite distraction, and it leaves you with a really fundamental choice. Will you be a consumer, just endlessly scrolling through things that other people have made? Or will you be a creator, using these incredible tools to build your vision? Will you be the user or the one who is used? The choice is yours. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and help us build the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.